What starts as a friendship between two kids running turns into an existential exploration of purpose and self-worth. When I first saw the trailers and clips 200 meters, I thought I knew exactly what I was getting into. A familiar setup, two friends, a fierce competition, and pushing each other to get better. A rivalry built on speed, discipline, and grit. And to be fair, that is part of the movie. What I didn't expect was how long that rivalry would last, how deep it would go, or how much this movie would focus on what happens outside the race. I knew the visuals were going to be outstanding. You can tell just from the animation style, especially the faces. It's that same pure focus and obsession you see in Blue Lock. Faces drawn in a way that almost hurts to look because you know how much pressure is sitting behind their eyes. But visuals aside, there was a moment when I realized this movie was doing something different. There's a scene where Togashi is talking to two kids out to the playground, trying to encourage them, trying to help them improve so they can win in their sports day. And then he overspills. He completely breaks down in front of them. And it's not dramatic in a flashy way. It's uncomfortable, quiet, and human. Because this is a character who finally reached a point in his career where he was proud of himself again, only to get injured and risk losing everything. There's an extreme long shot when he gets hurt at practice, and the camera being so far away only makes it worse. You feel the injury in your core, and the scene right before that, he was just chatting up with some of his teammates, and it seemed like a regular day. It was friendly and peaceful, which makes that moment hit harder because it reminds you this can happen to anyone at any time. There's also another moment that stuck with me when Togashi talks to an older runner and asks him for advice. I think the voice actor for this guy in sub is someone that I really like. He voices Nagami in JJK, and it was amazing hearing him in this movie. But he asks him for advice, and the answer he gets is simple but heavy. Find your purpose. Find your reason for running. This idea becomes the backbone of the entire movie. What really surprises me is I can't say who I relate to more, Togashi or Komaya. I hope I'm pronouncing their names right. And I think that's intentional. When I was younger, I wasn't bad at track, but I definitely wasn't the best. It took years. And then in high school, especially in jumps and hurdles, I finally reached the moment where things clicked. That feeling where you realize you're not just competing, you're belonging. There's a moment where Togashi meets Nagami during their interview. You can almost see that realization hits Togashi. If I'm at the top, how long does that last? Do I have the will and determination to stay there? For Togashi, that becomes his reason for running, being the best, fighting to stay on top. And that hit close to home for me. My junior year of high school was the best season of my career. First place in almost every event, personal records, school records, everything lined up for me. And all I wanted was to stay at the top. The last real races of my career, I didn't even know they'd be my last. I competed terribly, not because I didn't care, but because my body was giving up on me. I suffered an ankle sprain. And that's something this movie captures painfully well. Being stuck with the memory of your peak while trying to convince yourself you can climb back there again. And that's where Togashi lives throughout most of the movie, and it's brutal. On the other side, you have Komaya. Komaya runs to escape reality, and honestly, track might be the perfect way to do that. When you're truly dedicated, you feel every type of pain, physical, mental, emotional, and in that moment, nothing else exists. There's an early scene where Komaya explains why he enjoys running. He says that everything blurs, and all that's left is the pain moving through your body. And somehow, that's easier than dealing with reality. That line stuck with me. Track came into my life when I needed discipline, structure, something to disappear into. You can escape by trying to become the best, but you can also abuse that escape. And the movie never pretends that's healthy or heroic. It just shows its honesty. And that's why I relate to both characters. By the end, it comes clear this movie isn't really about competition. It's not about who wins. The ending makes that obvious, especially when you see both characters smiling together, running in the most pressured race of their lives. And I think that was the first time and only time we see both of these characters smiling in any scene, which is very powerful. For the first time, it doesn't matter who's on top. What matters is that they're still running and still themselves. This movie can be enjoyed by anyone. You don't need to be an athlete or a runner to connect with it. But I do think it hits especially hard if you've ever competed, because it shows the life of an athlete through multiple perspectives. Not just Togashi or Komaya, but characters like Zaitsu, Kaido, and Nagami as well. Different ages, different stages, different relationships with obsession and ambition. But it can also hit home for anyone who's obsessed over something for so long that it becomes hard to tell where you end and the thing you're chasing begins, when the pursuit starts to define you, unless you're aware enough to step back and re-enter life in a healthier way. At its core, this movie asks a quiet and uncomfortable question, not just in sports, in life. How are you pursuing your goals? Is the path you chose actually making you happy? Or are you just running because you don't know how to stop? What I really loved is that this movie doesn't pretend these answers come easily. You see characters in their 20s, 30s, and even older still trying to figure it out, still questioning their purpose, still searching. And there's something really beautiful about that, because in the end, 100 meters isn't about winning, it's about identity and learning how to keep moving forward without losing yourself along the way. And the last scene in the movie where the characters are smiling and it just ends there was the absolute most perfect way to have finished this movie, because we don't know who wins. But that was the point of the movie. It does not matter. From an athlete's perspective, it was phenomenal. From just someone who enjoys media and movies and anime, it was out of this world for me. I really enjoyed this movie. I cannot believe it took me this long to watch it, but I am glad I did. And I watched it on my cheap ass laptop. Like, I didn't even watch it in the movie theater with a real sound system with a big screen. I watched it on my laptop. I'm so upset that I didn't watch this in the movie theater. I should have watched it in the movie theater. But nonetheless, it was a fantastic movie and I cannot recommend it enough to you. If you're new here, my name is HR Godspeed. I review all types of anime. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Comment below what you think of 100 meters or any other movie or film you've watched that has made you feel this type of way as well. That is going to be the end of the video, guys. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and peace out, everybody.